What is going on, people of YouTube? My name is Kurtyoy and welcome back to day 9 of the Advent Calendar series. Hope you're doing well. Yesterday we announced the first winner of what could be quite a few giveaways this month, and today it's no giveaways, no prizes to be won or anything, just a normal dilemma centre, which ever since I stopped it has been heavily in demand, but I've genuinely been too busy. It'll be happening for the next few weeks, and then I doubt it will happen for the few weeks pretty much after Christmas Day itself, because I'll be out in America and I will not be wanting to have time to post a lot of videos. I get 3 weeks every 6 months basically with my girlfriend. I intend to use that time to be with my girlfriend, as corny as it sounds. But today we've got day 9, and as we can see on the screen, we have an advent calendar board. As we can see on the screen, number 9 is a striker, and actually the first striking kit is Everton. Now, infamously, a striker I think you should stay away from is Romelu Lukaku, but that's not the fact. The fact is that the highest points per game held by a goalkeeper is for Joel Robles, who has 7.0. But we should ignore the fact that's the only game he's played, and with Everton having defensive issues and goalkeeper issues, maybe Joel Robles can maybe add to that 7.0 with an 8.0 and make it 7.5. Who knows? But yeah, cool little fact. Just shame he's just played one game, really. But we have a dilemma centre. Finally, we've got 9 comments that I've picked out throughout the week where I've been promoting it, and let's answer your questions. First of all, we have Thomas McCarthy. He says, first dilemma is Kingsley out, and apologies if I read this wrong. 4.1 million, I have 0.5 in the bank. Barragan, Evans, or Francis. Shall I take out Peters for Browning for 3.9, free up 0.5, that would have 1 million in the bank for Phillips, and then also Moses out and Firmino in. What do you think? Well, it's a jumble comment. Firstly, to clear up the Browning thing, I feel like I'd never like to have a team where there's one player you put in there just because he's really cheap and he's not going to play. I like to have players that are playing, because even if you got an injury, then you haven't got to think, oh, I'm not going to have points in there. I might have only 7 players this week because a few injuries, suspensions and all that, and maybe changes to the lineup. I like to make it sure, so even if players don't play, I've got an extra 3 or 4 to fall back on. So I think Browning, stay away from that idea. Although it might free up cash elsewhere, to have players that are playing is very, very important. I think the only way you can probably get away with it, if it's going on the end of the season, you think, let's go absolute full blast, get rid of someone that's maybe not playing, switch in for someone that's definitely not playing, and bang up like an Aguero up front or a Sanchez, whoever is in form really at that time. But Kingsley, I think you need to get rid of him. Kingsley, I think 0.5 in the bank. Shame you've got a bit more to get Chris Brunt ahead of Evans, but I'd say Evans is probably your best bet. West Brom, not this weekend because they've got Chelsea. I feel like they will get battered, but maybe after that. And as far as Moses out and Firmino I think will be the full coverage, but I'd wait on Liverpool coverage, because when it comes down to it and Coutinho's back, he will start rising back up, but it'll also be incredibly cheap because there are still people shipping him out to try and get a bit of profit back, or just get him back for a decent price. But yeah, that's my thoughts. A bit of a jumbled comment, an interesting one, but I'd say never go for players that are are not playing, because although it might be getting better players on on your starting 11, it could also come back and bite you rather hard in your behind. Koyu Bishwa, and I want to say sorry for pronunciation if I butchers people's names, but Koyu Bishwa says Kane ? Kane, I'd say definitely. You're looking at Man United. It's tough. Man United have conceded a lot of goals this season, and De Gea for some reason is still the most owned goalkeeper, and I still can't get my head around it personally. But Kane's a fantastic striker. If you get him in now and he scores at the weekend, you'll be good. But also the next 2 home games, they are looking incredibly scrumptious, and the fact he's got 2 home games in a row, rated 1 on the fixture difficulty ranking, just about says it all. In long term, he's a goal scorer, he's a penalty taker, might even be on free kicks and corners, who knows. But Kane is a fantastic player, definitely should be one of your higher budget players. Adrian Caboche, I'm just going to say, Koscielny or Marcos Alonso. Now, if you've got the money for both, I'd suggest going for Marcus Alonso, saving the money that you would spend on Koscielny somewhere else. And the reason I say that is because Koscielny's 6.6. He was 6 million at the start, he's now 6.6, I believe, which is an insane amount. Might even be 6.7, I don't even know. But one thing I would be, watching on is if you bring Marcus Alonso in, that'd be good. But also another one to keep your eye on is Toby Alderweireld, who sort of fell out of the limelight. You're looking at Marcus Alonso being up there in price. You've got Koscielny and Bellerin being up there in price. Spurs are, currently, I think they've got one of the best, as the second best or the best defensive record in the league, and kept quite a few clean sheets. And Alderweireld also got forward a good amount of times last season, and is good from corners. So keep an eye on Alderweireld, but out of them two, I'd say definitely Marcus Alonso. Bresby says, I've said dilemma, so I'm responding to what videos I should make, and we all know what the big dilemma is, what to do with all that Aguero money. Now, it was 4 days ago, you've probably already transferred someone out, and by the way, if you're looking for an alternative FPL comment or commentary, videos, no matter what, I think, well, especially when I'm over, in America for Christmas, Bresby makes fantastic content, and you should definitely go over there and subscribe. But what to do with all that Aguero money, gamble, I suppose. But besides from being, trying to be funny, I'd say definitely look at Harry Kane. Harry Kane's next 2 fixtures are fantastic, and he's a goal scorer. He will score goals no matter where. Away at the Emirates, scored a goal, albeit a penalty, and that's another thing. Look for penalty takers. If you're looking for anyone, let's face it, no matter what, it's going to be a cheaper option than Aguero. Ibra's looking good. He's back in scoring ways. You've got Costa, who, although he looks injured, could be, at the time I'm recording this, could be injured for the next game week. He still looks a fantastic prospect. Then you go down cheaper. You've got Jermaine Defoe. You've got Charlie Austin. Llorente could be a huge risk, and you're getting loads of money back. You could pump that into midfield or in another striker. Who knows? But yeah, I'd say any of the ones I mentioned. But if I was going to go with anyone, I think Kane for the short term, he's going to give you many points, and long term, he's just a fantastic striker. Nikhil Chandra says, should I buy Giffy or Walcott? Please advise. My opinion would be Sigurdsson. He's got a decent few fixtures coming up, a decent run of fixtures, and if Llorente isn't going to play, I feel like he'll play in that sort of false 9 role, which gets him further up. If not, he's got someone to aim for. He's on free kicks. I hope he'll be put on penalties if Llorente isn't or anyone isn't playing, but yeah, I think Walcott in itself is a bit of a risk. I said that before, and he got 2 points against West Ham, so I think I was proven pretty right on that. But Sigurdsson's got a fantastic run of fixtures. He's got a fantastic amount of points so far this season in a relatively poor side, so I'll definitely go with Siggy. Mooney Hayat says, good review, but what do you think about Benteke and Ali? Interesting ones. Benteke scored well. He's going up in price, but I do think he's looking at the old Benteke, thinking, menace in the air, tick. You're looking at someone that's really good at finishing, tick. I feel like he's had a bit of luck on his side for the last few game weeks, but he's been really poor. He hasn't really been taking chances. He's had far too many, messed up quite a few things. I'm not sure about him. As for Dele Alli, he's sort of going through an uncertain phase. That dive was atrocious, for one, and I'm really not sure about any of us. So Benteke, I think he's the same price as Defoe, and if Defoe is scoring goals in a relatively poor team, if Sunderland do start improving, they get their first 11 sorted, they maybe bring in a few players in January to help Jermaine Defoe, the world is his oyster. Who knows what he could do. And as for Dele Alli, I think he's the same sort of price as Christian Eriksen. I think Son's a bit cheaper than him. There are better Spurs options in my opinion. B. Darry says, who is a better captain, Costa or Sigurdsson? Now Costa faces a home tie against West Brom. Swansea, however, well, Swansea, look at the fixtures, they've got a game against Sunderland, who have only kept 1 clean sheet this season. Costa's obviously one of the safe options. The only problem is that I think he's still got a 75% chance of playing on him, so I'm not too sure about him for this game week. I haven't heard anything that say he's injured, haven't heard anything to say he's not injured, so I'm sort of left in a bit of limbo for that. So Sigurdsson, you're looking at any dead ball situation. He is on that corner, free kicks, the lot. He's going to be dangerous. He's going to be able to put balls in the area. If Llorente's there, he can really do some damage, get some assists from that. And I think, out general, I think I'd take a risk on Sigurdsson. But if you're going to play it safe, and you're more of a safe player, I'd say Costa. Lewis Pritchard has commented a team saying Pickford in goal, Rose, Walcott and Vertonghen in defence, Lallana, Firmino, Pedro, Hazard and Sigurdsson in midfield, and Austin and Costa at the back. He says, without adding any Arsenal players, who would you change? Well, first of all, that back 3 is terrifying. Now, I sometimes double up on goalkeeper and defender, or 2 defenders. You never triple up. on a defender, because if Spurs don't get a clean sheet, your whole back line has got no points. You know, if they get a clean sheet, yes, no, you know, no risk, no reward, but that's a huge risk to take. If I was going to say anything, probably I'd take Rose out, and you're looking at a few good options. I'd say past this week, you're looking at players like Brunt. He's very underrated in this game, but he's one of those players that is a defender playing in midfield, so it gives you those extra points, clean sheets, you know, when he's just really a winger. But that back line, I think I'd definitely change the midfield. You know, you're looking at 2 Chelsea players. Pedro, I think, could be injured, and also Willian's coming back. He looked sharp and really good. Got a good game in against Man City, so he could be losing his spot soon. But that back line, I think it has to have something changed on it. Admittedly, Spurs this weekend, Man United could very well concede, so I think you could be in a bit of trouble if you don't get rid of them. But alas, who would I bring in for it? I'm saying Brunt. I would say an Arsenal defender, but you've told me no. But someone like Alonso, a Chelsea defender, Aspilicueta, even Cahill. He's got his own goal out of the way for this season. David Luiz even maybe, but yeah, change the 3 Spurs players. Stefan McCarthy says, how do I double my chip bonus with midweek games? Does game week 15/16 count? Well, I think what you're trying to get, I think what he was trying to get at was how do you get like 2 games in one, chip. And this game week, game week 15/16 is not the case. The reason they happen is, like, let's say someone gets to a cup final, like the Capital One Cup final is usually the one where you get a few Premier Leagues out. I think it's only Premier League teams left in that competition, but Capital One Cup final, if 2 teams get that means it's played on a Premier League weekend, so that means their games that they were scheduled to play that weekend gets moved and added on to a midweek. So technically, whereas game week 16, it is a game week in itself. It's already planned by the league to have all 20 teams play on the Tuesday and the Wednesday. That doesn't count as a double game week. Double game week is if, let's say, a game was, let's say if I'm looking at the fixture list this weekend, we have an early game, Watford versus Everton. If that was postponed, let's say to Waterlog pitch, that'd get rearranged and put into another time slot next later on in the season, and that way it'll be added on to another game week. So that game week you'd have Watford players and Everton players doing double the amount of time. So that's how that works. I wouldn't use your chips until you've got a confirmed double game week. It doesn't matter if every team's playing, but if you've got like a cup final, let's say Arsenal playing but they're double game week against 2 relegation threatened teams, triple captain Alexis Sanchez, something like that looks really good. But hopefully I've answered the questions to the best of my abilities, and hopefully there's a better understanding now. And that is that for this video. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and like I mentioned in the last comment, we've got a game week. It starts on Tuesday. This game week ends on Sunday, so it's fair to say this weekend there might not be videos. There's going to be no Dilemma Centre. I'll try and get the review and the preview of my season out. Specifically, differentials of my captain will be put, or captain video will be put into a bit of a question of whether they're going to up, because that's going to be 3 videos on one day, 2 video on another. Not even that. That's not even close enough. Maybe a few on Tuesday. But yeah, it's going to be really tight. Hopefully, I can get all the videos out. But thank you all for watching. I hopefully you have enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll let you know when the next Dilemma Centre is, because we've got midweek game week. It makes it really awkward. The next game week after that starts on a Saturday, so I would say do it then, but unfortunately time will be against us for that. Game week 18, I'm looking at the start of 26th. I'll be recording the differential or the Dilemma Centre a few days before that, so I might have one out on Christmas Day. Blimey, how to finish off the Advent Calendar series with a little bit of a Dilemma Centre. But yeah, I'm waffling. Thank you all for watching. I'll let you know. Follow my Twitter. I'll let you know on other videos during the Advent Calendar series. Alas, it's been a fantastic time. So far. Hopefully, I can continue making videos. I didn't really, clock in my head it was going to be a double game, or midweek game week. So yeah, I'm going to struggle this week. But thank you all for watching. Hopefully, you have enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.